Violet or Violet.
All right, so tell me about Lawn Boy so far. What do you know? What do you think's going on? Ava.
What? Oh wait, never mind. I forgot.
Okay, Waylon.
So, when he was talking to Arnold yesterday, I think he's gonna get like merchandise and then sell it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
All right. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm glad you said that. That's going to come out today, I believe. Sophie.
He met Arnold.
He met Arnold. So what's Lawn Boy about? If you had to tell somebody, if your mom comes up to you and says, hey, that book Lawn Boy you're reading, what's that about? What would you say, Maddie?
A boy that mows lawns.
A boy that mows lawns. Brent?
A boy that got a lawnmower for his birthday and got a huge profit off of mowing lawns.
Okay. Waylon?
A boy who eventually is going to be very, well, not eventually. A
Sounds
boy
like it.
who's going to hire people and probably have a big business and be pretty rich.
Okay. Brent, one more.
Is this fiction?
Yes, this is fiction. And what's Lawn Boy's name? How would you answer that question if it was on a quiz? What's Lawn Boy's name? Maddie,
What, me?
you had your hand up.
Lawn boy? Because no one knows him.
Have we been told his name? No. But who's telling the story?
Lawn boy.
Lawn Boy. All right. So we don't know his name. So we don't know his name so far. All right. Yes, Waylon.
I have a question. So, like, on the test, if we know his real name whenever we get more into the book, but we know his other name is Lawn Boy, which, if we put, like, Lawn Boy in it was supposed to be his real name, or if we put his real name in it wasn't supposed to be Lawn Boy?
It's okay.
Okay.
Don't lose sleep over it. Don't worry about it. All right. So in the last chapter, we learned about the law of increasing product demand versus flat production capacity, which basically means you can only make so much stuff, or you can only mow so many lawns during a day. But there may be more people who want your services. So Lawn Boy is going to learn something. In chapter 4, page 21. Here we go. Page 21.
I am here.
So if you're at home, you can always pause and go to page 21. Are you there, Waylon? Getting his glasses. Glasses are good. Where are your glasses, Haley?
I don't wear my glasses. I'll read my mom will yell at me. She'll say, I was for $7,000 glasses.
Here we go. I guess you'd say that I'm a pretty normal boy, intelligence-wise. I mean, it's true that my parents are very smart people. Maybe not about money, but in other ways. My dad is full of ideas and how to tackle them. He even understands Einstein. My mother can do amazingly complicated math in her head. I'm not like that. Now, I can read and learn things. I go to a regular school in Eden Prairie, and I get good grades. Maybe good is too strong a word. I get all right grades.
Like a couple C's a year, maybe B's and C's.
And with my average brain and average grades, I lead a pretty average life. When I was small, I played with toys, made models. I sometimes still make models. I went through a massive video game phase and still like to play now and then. I like girls, but can't talk to them. Not a word. I try to be nice to everyone and polite to old folks, people over 20 or 30. So there's nothing to explain what happened to me that summer. It's easy to say it was all just luck, but it's hard to believe there wasn't some kind of force behind it. After meeting Arnold, I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do, but 2 days later I mowed his lawn and he told me that he would buy me not $35 worth of some kind of stock, but $40, which was the original amount that I'd wanted for mowing his lawn. You're right, he said. That's a fair price. I bought you stock in a small company that makes coffins. They're just starting up and the stock is going for 50 cents a share. Coffins? You mean for dead people? Right. But I don't want any coffins. Well, you're not going to get any. You're going to get 80 shares of a stock in a company called the Memorial Wooden Container Corporation. Oh, well, good, because a coffin, that's more trouble than I need right now. Is something wrong? We were standing on Arnold's front steps, and he handed me some kind of hippie iced tea that tasted sweet, but he said had no sugar in it. He studied my face. Oh, nothing really. It's just that I'm getting more and more jobs. I can't do them all, and I have to start turning them down. Supply and demand, Arnold nodded. It's groovy, man. The very nature of the concept of economic structure. You just need more mowers, more people to meet the growing demand. The previous lawn service, before the, of course, the unfortunate instance of the romantic mishap, had a small crew of workers to handle the burden of all the lawns you are now working. You need to start distributing the wealth, dispersing the work. Far out. It's beautiful. Well, it might be beautiful, but I can't do it. I don't know anybody. I might, he held up his hand, be able to help you with this. Help me mow lawns? Even his smile looked round. No, I'm busy, but I've done some investing for a man named Pasquale. He knows lots of people who are always looking for work. He's a good, reliable person. Known him for years. Can you come back after dark? Well, sure, I suppose. Not real late because my parents want me in by 9, but alarm bells were ringing inside my head. Why only after dark? Pasquale looks after his kids during the day. When his wife comes home from her job, then he goes to work. He mows lawns when people are sleeping? Arnold shook his head. No, he does other work that isn't so noisy. Trimming, fertilizing, that sort of thing. Quiet things that won't wake the neighborhood. In the dark? He wears a headlamp. Ingenious, really. I admire his creativity in the face of opposition. Entrepreneurship at its finest. There are no impossibilities, just hurdles to be overcome. Is it, safe? Kenny Halverson's uncle said he didn't like half the things he saw in the daylight, and that there was a very good reason for being afraid of the dark. If we were supposed to be out in the dark, Kenny Halverson's uncle said we'd be born with night vision goggles on our heads. Pasquale is honest, which is really what you wanted to know. And yes, he's safe. If you don't want to meet him, that's fine. Just keep your business at its present level. But if you want to expand, I think Pasquale can help you. 5 days earlier, I had been wondering where I could find enough money for a bike inner tube. And now I was considering how I could expand my business to distribute work and disperse wealth. I shook my head at how weird things had gotten and looked back at Arnold. Okay, let's talk to Pasquale. Groovy. I'll call him right now. We'll meet him tonight. And so we did. All right, that's chapter 4. We're not moving on till tomorrow. Groovy. Okay, so there's a word he used in here. That's what this whole book is about, really. Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a French word. He used the word, it's on page 24, he used the word entrepreneurship. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? I'm going to write that on the board. Entrepreneur. Think about what Lawn Boy is doing. And now I got to make sure I spell it. I guess it's a French word. Where'd you go? Yep. You left off an arm, you notice? Entrepreneur. All right. If you are an entrepreneur, Anna.
Really creative.
Say it again.
Really creative.
Well, an entrepreneur would be really creative, but they do a certain something. What is Lawn Boy doing? He's starting his own lawn mowing business, right? He's starting it out from scratch. He saw a need, and he's filling it. That's what entrepreneurs do. They see something that's needed, and they do something. Like, what's his name? The guy who does the Tesla cars.
The Tesla car?
Yeah. I could see him. Can't think of his name. But people who create things, like people who they saw a need for electric cars, and they created electric cars. People go in a building, and they see that it would be much more efficient for kids to have a water bottle filler than a drinking fountain, and they create one. So you see a need and you create it and you start a business. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. Even somebody doing a lemonade stand, that's being an entrepreneur. You see thirsty drivers driving home from work, you say, hey, I could provide them with a drink and make a little money at the same time. And they create their lemonade stand, and thus they have a business. So entrepreneurs see a need, and they either create something, or they start a business, they sell something, they provide a service. Yes?
Speaking of lemonade stands, I made a snow cone stand.
Very good, you entrepreneured. It's great. Did you have business? Did you have customers? Sweet. All right, yes, Draven.
We have plum trees, and next summer we're gonna have a lemonade and plum stand.
Oh, I love plums. I'll be there. I think about, like, on Main Street, Mr. and Mrs. Paul, Emily, and Harry started a business on Main Street called Blackbird Cafe. They saw a need in Staunton. There was nowhere to get coffee, donuts, sweets, sandwiches, and they became entrepreneurs. They started a business up from scratch. They actually started it at the Staunton, the market, the farmer's market in the summer. And then from there, more and more people kept buying and saying, hey, I'd like more. And then they started taking orders. They started from nothing and built up to a business that's on Main Street.
Yeah, for a
That's
while,
being
she
an
used to,
entrepreneur.
For
What?
a while, she used to do like cakes out of her house, and then she started making
Yes.
jams and selling them.
Yep.
The jams are really good.
I mean, we were there right from the start. We would get to that farmer's market before anybody, so we could get some of her freshly made things.
She was the one that made my 9th unicorn birthday cake that Ro
Yes,
made.
she made my son and daughter-in-law's wedding cake. They're just amazing. So that's entrepreneur. That's being an entrepreneur. Starting up your business like that, seeing a need and going for it. And Ava,
I think she made my unicorn cookies for my birthday.
she very well may have. All right, so that is the end of chapter 4. I'm going to hit send, and you will be able to take the quiz. So we'll say goodbye.